the backhand 3/4 length, a pretty tricky area of the court. And there's a good little video here, hopefully, that I can help with a few of the little tips that moving into that deep backhand, or not deep backhand, but that backhand 3/4 length where you need to intercept the ball before it really reaches the back. I think I can really help with a few little key little tips here because, one of the key things is getting more and more used to using that left leg as you lunge in. And it's not easy, but hopefully with these little tips, you can go and work on this. And yeah, I've got Stingray here. I'm just putting the ball into nice areas, just consistently practicing this again and again. And before I really dive in with the analysis, please do click in the link in the description below. Really keen to help the squash community with some free swing audits. Please do send them in and would be more than happy to help out. Okay, so let's see if we can dissect a few little bits. But as you can notice, we're making contact at exactly the same points. So let me zoom on in and we'll talk about what's happening here. So I think the first snapshot that I want to talk about is this. Hopefully you can see that real deep lunge, 90 degrees in the legs, really keeping nice and low. My student doing an okay job of it, but definitely not getting as optimal as he can in regard to that lunge. I also think it feels like he's a little bit too close, even though we got a nice straight arm and reaching, there just feels a little bit of cramping on what he's doing. I think the angle of the back is quite interesting as well. So let me try use this tool. So if I use that as the horizontal roughly, and then the angle of the back, I don't think it's going to be too different our angles of our backs, but I just feel that I'm leaning into it a little bit more than he is. So, again, maybe something like that. It's only subtle, but even there, you can possibly see my head in regard to his head as well. I'm trying to push it out there. For me, this is how we want to be playing this deep backhand, sorry, I keep saying deep 3/4 backhand. And again, a lot of people ask like, oh, well, why don't I just go on my traditional leg? But think about this. If I'm moving to the ball, as I've left the tee, this leg is closer. I can throw that leg out. It's a little bit closer. It's a little bit more efficient. Okay, I have to completely accept I'm not going to get as much power, and that's totally fine. This is not necessarily the area to look to really, capitalize on. You're looking to secure your tee position, get your opponent off the tee, get yourself back to the tee, and look to dominate from there. I'm just chipping it. It could have possibly gone a little bit deeper with that one. So it's not too bad, tiny bit short, but it's okay. But again, sacrifice a bit of power in order to be efficient. That is what a big part of this is. Okay, so let's have a look at how I'm leaving compared to my student. So just going to take a look at my feet here. So as I leave, I've got that little push off. I don't quite do a split step on them, but you'll notice that now I'm trying to swing that leg, my right leg, underneath and behind. That throws me and propels me a little bit more. And what it does really nice, it turns my hips. It's trying to get my body in a rotated position to get around the ball. I've done another video of this exact same shot from a different angle, looking at it from over there. So please do go check it out on the channel because there's a little bit of different nuance, but seeing it from this angle, I think is really important as well. Okay, so in the same part of the swing, so I've talked about leaving, crossing under. What's my student doing? Yeah, decent, not too bad. His feels a little bit wide and big and exaggerated, and it's not that tight to him. He's not getting it tight. Where you see my cross under, if you just notice what's happening there, like my knee is hitting my calf. It's relatively close and tight and compact, keeping it there. And that's that, again, just talking about efficiency. I think this is one of the most interesting little pictures here. Let's have a look at this. I don't know, it blurs a little bit when I zoom in. Look at that compared to that. Look at how my student's racket is hanging out in space, whereas mine, it's trying to tuck in behind my head here. I think that's a very, very important way to look at it in order to get that arm across the body. And what I'm trying to do there, look at also my elbow position. Look at how I want to tuck it in nice and early, not too constricting, but I want to get it underneath my rib cage. Whereas my student's elbow is hovering out in space. And I think that it just doesn't optimize the coil, the rotation. Because if I can get my elbow underneath my rib cage there, look what it does to my shoulders and my back. It feels like it really turns them. By the time I'm lunging in, you can really see the full logo. You can really see that full logo there looking at the camera because I've twisted. I'm really a lot further round than I think my opponent is. Yes, I can see obviously part of his back and there's some decent rotation there, but it doesn't feel like a coil spring. It doesn't feel like it's really, really tucked in there. One thing I always talk about, which I love reminding people of, is the 1, 2, 3 part of the swing. So the 1 is that slightly hooded position there. It's not my full tilt. It's because I don't have the ability to hit that ball that hard from this position. I'm trying to be efficient, but I need that. My student's number 1 is okay, not too bad. I'd possibly like to see the tilt a little bit more, but I think it's because of the lack of tucking in that it's really hard to get there. So again, let's have a look at our number twos. There we go. That sounds really weird. Look at our number twos. Anyway, one for the adults maybe. That racket is in a good position. It's horizontal. It's looking up at the ceiling, elbow, forearm, wrist. Really, really nice. So that's really good. But again, you might be able to just sense there's a little bit more rotation as opposed to my student in this position. And also you'll notice my legs. I know I kind of stopped on this one there. Just have a look at the distance that my student's foot feels, too close to the tee. It's not in that, it's not really getting in that side on position that allows me to get there and basically spring off that shot really well. Because if you look there, I can coil up. Now I've loaded on the knee there, and I'm using that energy from that left knee. And also you'll notice that I'll use my right foot and my right knee very soon. There it takes over. And I'm skipping back to the tee, doing another cross under to make sure that I'm then back ready for the next shot. Going back to my student here, I don't think he'll be able to necessarily do it. A little bit of a drag, push is okay, not able to get it behind him, but that's a decent little skip. That's not too bad. That's a decent return to the tee. So a lot of good stuff in here, but again, I think there can be a lot more optimization. Again, there's a good snapshot, isn't it? Look at that compared to that. What I would encourage people to practice is this. As I leave, look at the trigger. Look at how I'm triggering my wrist and my hand and my racket up and back, up and back, up and back as quickly as I can. So almost as I'm pushing off my foot and my knee, I'm also throwing this across me. Little quick shout out that I'm always looking for. Finger up on that grip. You always want to have that top finger up on that grip, a little bit separate. Really good for my student there. Has the same grip there. Very, very nice. We look quite similar in that position where our rackets are, but look at how much I get my racket in behind my ear a lot quicker. I'm getting that shape. It's not quite a diamond shape. That's more of a box shape. And I actually talk about that quite a bit. That actually the first starting point, that forearm is going to be quite horizontal. That's totally fine. Forearm horizontal with obviously the bicep and the tricep just coming down to create the box shape. If we just look at my students there's not quite a box shape, is there? It's not quite in the right position. So for me, I love this box shape idea. And then when I got time, there we go. There's the diamond shape. You can see now that I've gone across and I've lifted my hand. My hand's lifted towards my left shoulder. And my student does it well, but yeah, look at that. He's not really lifting his hand. He's pulling it into his left shoulder. And I think that's just a little bit of a waste. It's not as efficient. And it just causes a little bit of messiness in the swing and just causes maybe a lack of power, even though you got limited power. Let's see what's happening on the follow through now. As I'm hitting side on, trying to keep myself side on, this is a common thing that my student does a lot. He really turns his head a bit too early, but just watch his head here, how he turns it towards the front wall. He's wanting to look his whole chest there. If you notice what I'm trying to do, I'm only glancing at it out the corner of my eye. I'm really not rotating too much. And I'm trying to trust that I want to keep myself as side on as possible in the shot as long as possible, because everything is coming up and down the side wall. The activity is all over here, isn't it? It's not anywhere else. That ball's going straight up and down the side wall. My opponent's going to be coming in, going to a ball up and down the side wall. So it seems quite pointless to open up fully to the front wall just to be able to turn when I'm back on the tee. My student tends to do that quite often where he turns and opens up. And one other probably last point I'm going to talk about the follow through. Again, he hits a pretty good shot here. It's good, reaching maybe could be a little bit more down. Again, there's a little bit of just a bit of tension, and I can't quite spot it right now where it's not quite fully released. Maybe it's something like this. Let me just try this. Because it's this angle of his arm. If I just draw from the shoulder straight down and I use that angle, if I just do the same from there, if I just draw straight down, I might not be getting this quite right. So there, maybe look, 10 degrees different. Again, don't get caught up on it has to be 40 degrees or 30 degrees. That's not what it's about. But it's just showing there's possibly a little bit more space in and around there. I'm clearing my arm away from my body a little bit more. So maybe that's a good little point that you want to think about in regard to reaching. Again, the practice is ghosted. Don't get distracted by the ball so far or at the moment. Put a piece of tape down there. Put a couple of balls down on the floor wherever they need to be. Put your foot on the tape. Swing over the ball. Get used to that reaching. Get used to optimizing all of the legs and the back and all these good things, hopefully there. If there's one thing you take, let me see if this tool works quite well. Sometimes this tool works well. Yeah, that's quite nice. Just zooming in on there, just kind of saying, hey, listen, take a little snapshot in your mind of what's going on over there. That's for me is quite good to look at. Okay, so like I said, let me just look at the last thing, which is the follow through. Having a look at mine there on the right, what I'm doing is I'm flicking that wrist up at the end. I don't have much, but I need to throw that racket head up and through. See there, I'm just trying to lift it, the top of the racket towards the ceiling, just trying to let that arm go a little bit. And that also pulls me back to the tee. It's great to use the follow through to get yourself out of the shot back towards the tee, but it's up towards the ceiling. Let's just have a look at my student here. And again, I think this is possibly because he's too close, but also because he turns a lot to the front wall. Watch how he slices it. So look at that. So you can see that his racket face turns there. It's open. It's looking up at the ceiling. So let me just go to that point. Can you see that there? He's hitting across there, not too high of a follow through, more of a slice across, leaving the knuckles and racket face look at the ceiling. And actually, there's nothing majorly wrong with that. I way prefer that than a lot of other follow throughs I see. But he's not kicking it at the end. It's all arm based, isn't it? It's like, it's really, that just looks a little bit harder. And if you see mine on the right, I'm able to throw my racket up and through the ball, give it a little kick, a little nudge, a little bit extra to the back. Let's see where his ball lands. I think it was quite a good shot this. Actually, no, there we go. So again, not being too harsh on him, but he doesn't quite get that ball to the back of the court. And his opponent there would probably pounce on that and get in a bit of trouble. So again, a little bit more height, a little bit better follow through would probably kick that ball through to the back. Okay. So there we go, everyone. Hopefully that helps a little bit. And just again, just look at that follow through. Please do like, share, comment on the channel, send it to your friends, send it to your rivals. Let's get the squash community playing better squash, even though you probably want to keep some of the secret to yourself. The more that people can play and improve their game, I think the more it swells the base of the game, which is only a good thing for all of us. And as always, please do click in the link in the description, grab your free personalized swing audit. Would be more than happy to help you out. And I look forward to diving into more videos, and I'll see you at the next one. Cheers for now. Bye.